Hi everyone and welcome to my kitchen. This year I've been thinking, what can I do to treat my mother for Mother's Day? And as I won't be going out, I decided I'm going to cook her something that I know she will love at home. So this is where my lamb, barberry, pine nut and biber kebab comes in and does the job beautifully. It's exactly what she loves to eat because it's very, very traditional in our culture and she would cross oceans for a decent kebab. And I'm going to tell you, it's so ridiculously easy. So first things first, I've got 4 salad onions here. I could mince an onion or chop an onion, but it's much easier to use these and they've got lots of flavor. You don't need to cook them off in advance. So take the roots off and then slice them as thinly as you can, root to tip. We don't waste anything, okay? Now I've got 500 grams of lamb mince in this bowl. You can use any kind of mince you like, but what I would ask is that you go for a nice fatty blend. Something about 20% is right because it's so important to keep this mixture lovely and moist, and that's the true nature of the kebab. Next up, I've got some garlic cloves, which I'm just gonna crush in here. And then I'm going to take some flat leaf parsley. You can use coriander, you can use dill. Any kind of soft herbs work beautifully. And if you want this recipe, the link is below. Right, parsley into the bowl. Now for the seasonings, and this is what makes this kebab spectacular. So first things first, my old friend biber. Biber is a Turkish chili flake and it's slightly milder than spicy bird's eye chilies. And then I've got some oregano and barberries. Barberries are a really Persian ingredient, but what they do beautifully here is their natural citrus flavor cuts through the fat of the kebab brilliantly. Next up, I've got some cumin. Ground cumin is a very heady, earthy flavor. Too much can be a little overpowering, but the right amount can be the perfect pairing for red meat especially. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be asking me, what? But I've got some bicarbonate of soda. I know you think I'm nuts, let me explain it to you. This is a really secret trick for making koftas and kebabs. It gives them this light springiness that is really hard to explain until you've eaten it. So we want half a teaspoon, not much more than that, okay, because you will be able to taste it. And then 50 grams of pine nuts. And what that does is add plenty of crunch and texture, which makes the kebab really, really pleasing. Next, I'm going to take an orange. I know it sounds like orange, what's she doing? I'm going to zest the orange. It just works particularly well with the biber, and the oils in the orange skin add so much flavor that you can actually taste through it. And then of course, salt and pepper. Right. Now, I know a lot of you associate koftas with meat, but for us in the East, kofta means nothing more than to beat, to pummel, or to bruise. And it's that working technique, almost like you're kneading bread dough, that really makes these kebabs light, digestible, and utterly delicious because it's quite a smooth texture. And you can afford to get a little bit aggressive with the mixture. The word kebab is actually a Persian word, and it derives from the time when Persian soldiers would hunt something and grill the meats on skewers. The skewers were actually their swords. The word kebab doesn't mean anything more than roast, really. It doesn't have to even be meat. But this is our kebab, and it's got a lot going for it. Just going to put it straight into the dish. Now, all we want to do is trying to flatten it out as best we can and then start cupping around the edges. That gives you a nice smooth edged finish, and then you can start to make it look more presentable. It is for Mother's Day after all. Now, the pan I've got here is a cast iron pan, a Le Creuset pan, and the reason I like using them is because it does sort of give you that burnished edge at the bottom because it holds heat very, very well. You can of course use anything you've got at home that's oven proof, and just remember that we've got the oven turned on to the highest heat that it will go, fan assisted, because we want a smoking hot heat to try and mirror how authentic kebabs are cooked. And all we're going to do is take it over to the oven for 18 minutes and it's done. So whilst my kebab's in the oven, I'm just going to do a few little things on the side that are just going to bulk this up and make it absolutely delicious. First things first, I've got the leftover parsley from the bunch and I'm just going to roughly chop it. This is a traditional accompaniment for kebabs in Turkey and it works absolutely beautifully. And then I've got onion. Skin it, top and tail it, and then you just want to thinly slice it. Now, not only is this dish absolutely stunning for a special occasion like Mother's Day, it's something I make once a week at home because it is so convenient, so easy to put together, and the variations are endless. Now, sumac is also another Persian ingredient that's super popular here, and it's nothing more than a lovely citrusy bite, a perfect pairing with fatty meats, and that's the traditional accompaniment in Persian kebabs. Just give it a quick mix together, and you want a little bit of salt to make it quite moist by drawing the juice out of the onions. Now, the other thing we want is nice tomato to make the wrap lovely and juicy, and I like to just cut them in half moons, which just makes the perfect portion and bite. Right, that looks fantastic. Lots of burnished bits around the edges and on top. Don't think that that's burnt, it's not. We're trying to create that fire cooked barbecue effect, but indoors, and that's what a dish like this really helps you do. Now, I like to use these tortilla wraps because they're actually the closest thing to Middle Eastern flatbread, which is actually very thin, and it's entirely your choice if you want to cut it like a pizza slice. I like strips because I think it's much nicer to have lots of little pieces, and then arrange those slices so they almost have one thick width. I like to layer flavour. So I'm going to put the salad on the side, and then I'm going to go in with the yogurt. In Persian culture, yogurt is almost like a sauce for us. We serve it with everything that doesn't come with a liquid sauce. Then we've got some tomatoes, a little bit more of the salad, some onions, because I love onions. And lastly, pomegranate molasses. Pomegranate molasses is so intensely sour, but has this wonderful sweet flavour. It finishes everything with a wonderful pucker. There we go. Delicious wrap, which you will just roll up like this. Perfect kebab. Mama and everyone else is gonna love that.